Bones and All was directed by Luca Guadagnino and stars Taylor Russell, Timothy Chalamet, and Mark Rylance. And I don't want to say too much about the movie's plot per se or what the characters do, but essentially you're following two leads who are cannibals, and they're going around the country trying to figure out a few things about life and essentially figure out how this thing works. And basically, it's a coming of age story around cannibalism. It's a horror romance film. It's an interesting turn from things like Call Me by Your Name or Suspiria, even though it does fit the mold of the latter a little bit more in terms of the horror genre. But make no mistake, at the end of the day, Bones and All is a film that's taking something incredibly unique, the idea of cannibalism, and giving it a bit of a romantic push, which is strange and bizarre, and it's definitely not gonna work for everybody. I was actually stunned in that there was not a single walkout in my theater. I was expecting it. I was expecting at least one person to just walk out, but that did not happen. I do know that there have been some walkouts, and I don't expect Bones and All to be for everybody. This is definitely a movie that is going to be, and no pun intended, an acquired taste. But I think if you give it the patience and if you are able to sit with it, what you get here is quite an interesting experience. I wouldn't necessarily say that it is something that is going to, necessarily give you a great feeling by the end of it, but Guadagnino once again proves he's a great director. I mean, I've loved all of his movies before this, and I think with Bones and All, he's done something really special. And once again, he has proven how good he is at directing actors, because the stuff that he does here with Taylor Russell, she is giving a commanding performance in this movie. This is one of the best things that I think I've seen her do. I've seen her in a few things before, but in terms of performances, she is fantastic in this. And as usual, Timothy Chalamet comes here and does what he has to do. He's a great actor. But someone who deserves that shout out also is Mark Rylance, who is a great actor anyway, but he has a very chilling role in this movie as another cannibal who is someone who encounters our main characters at one point, and eventually he becomes a very interesting and a very creepy threat, so to speak. I don't want to say too much more about that, but all I'm going to say about it is it's a very interestingly handled storyline. The direction across the board is honestly really, really great. It's very gory and gruesome, that's for sure. Don't expect this movie to hold back on certain imagery. You get to see a lot of really messed up stuff, You know what cannibalism is, so you're going to see some cannibalism action, which is, it's a bit grotesque to say the least, and it's very hard to stomach at times. But again, if you sort of ride it out with the film, if you give it the patience, you might actually really like what they're trying to do. It's not trying to romanticize it or anything like that. It's just telling the story of these two characters, and I think it handles that really, really well. And as you following Erin, and she's trying to understand who she is and how she has become this and how to control it, it's quite interesting. It's sort of like watching another supernatural movie where it's you see someone with this sort of monstrous condition who's okay, how do I stop becoming a werewolf all the time, or how do I stop becoming a vampire all the time, or something like that. But it's fascinatingly done, beautifully shot too. The cinematography is gorgeous, and a great Reznor and Ross score over it. As usual, they're proving that they're the best composers. When you have to do something really bizarre and outrageous, I think they're fantastic composers in general, and I think they've done a really great job here as well. I mean, I hope that they continue to keep scoring stuff for as long as it takes. This is really great. And the writing is really good, especially the romance that eventually builds between Erin and Lee. I think it's really sweet, and eventually you find yourself really unexpectedly moved by it. I gotta tell you, by the end of the movie, no spoilers, I was very much swept up in what the movie was trying to tell, and how it was conveying its character storylines and plot lines. It's sometimes a little slight on a few things in the narrative. There are some things which I think could have been developed on a little bit more. We do tend to move past a few things a little quickly, and I wish that there was some more time to that. And yes, it is a very measured pace of a movie. Don't expect something fast and furious. It's something that's definitely taking its time, which is okay. That's not a problem to me, which, like I said, though, it could be something that affects some other audiences, but I think at the end of the day, I still walked out of Bones and All thinking about it quite a bit. I actually saw it yesterday. I took a minute to review it though because I wanted to know what I really wanted to say. And overall, I'm still very pleased with the film. I recommend checking it out. It is in theaters now, so if you guys get a chance to go see it, definitely do and let me know what your thoughts are below. I'm gonna give Bones and All a 9 out of 10. A really good movie. Actually a really, really good movie. And a lot of that is, with thanks to the direction and the performances, those are genuinely really, really good. Guys, thank you very much for watching. I also watched Wednesday on Netflix, which is a review I'm going to be dropping pretty much immediately after this too. So lots of work today. As always, if you like this, please do subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the movies.